consciousazine.com Chronicles. Alright, good morning everyone. So today we're going to do a video on Kalanchoe, this certain plant, but first I want to look into chiggers. And you know, I was watching Man vs. Wild and he mentioned something will bite you in the old man's beard in the Florida Everglades if you lie on the ground or get the old man's beard from the ground. So he was saying it's okay to pick the old man's beard from the tree because the chiggers won't be in it. So that's Bear Grylls from Man vs. Wild. And, you know, I was just the other week trying to find out what he meant by chiggers, and I spelt it wrong. So today, finally, I spelt it right, with double G. I think that was the only difference. Anyway. So what they are is these little microscopic things, and they're barely visible to the naked eye. You might be able to see it if you're very, very lucky and very good at with your eyesight. Magnifying glass may be needed though. Now it could be these things I also had in my car once, and you know, when I look at when they bite, because when I was in my car there was these things a few years ago. And I couldn't see anything, I didn't realise what it was, and I knew it was something. And I have a feeling it was these chiggers. Maybe I got in a nest from the environment into my car or something. They were there for a little while, not very long, a few months, and then I started using things like lemon myrtle spray, and that really killed them down. Lemon myrtle spray actually was preventative to these guys. I don't know if it killed them, but yeah, eventually they all left, I guess. But so it almost looked like a little tick. So you could take some of the same measures as you would against a tick, you know. But yeah, so apparently they're mainly just on the ground. And so, you know, they come in your collar and you know, these short, the pants scuffs here. And this is what the bites can look like. Now, my bites weren't that severe, but yeah, it most likely was them. And the reason I think it was these things is because the next slide. But anyway, it says the bite itself's not noticeable. But after a few hours of them you know, putting their digestive enzymes, injecting it into your skin, it gets itchy. And then by the time you see it like this, the chigger's already gone. So there's no point putting on bleach and things like that because the chigger's already out of there. This is like the after effect, you're scratching. So the little, the very young chiggers, they eat a stylostome, which is like a tube of dead skin that's been enzymatically killed, that they created or their parents created. And yeah, there's no use really putting stuff on after to try to kill it because they're gone. So really all you need to put on after is things like calendula cream, whatever this stuff is might work, but I don't recommend things from bottles. Just put it on things like aloe vera and things that aren't going to stop you scratching. Also honey, raw honey. It's like how I would treat eczema. Something that stings it, like apple cider vinegar first, and it gets away the pain because it stings it intensely and then you don't feel any itching after. So either honey or apple cider vinegar, and then you put something cooling like calendula cream on. There's no long-term effects of these little things. They're just out there, and these little mite things. So yeah. This is what made me think that I definitely had them in my car a few years ago, because they used to not bite, and I was sleeping in my car, and then sometimes I'd sleep on the beach in a tent, so it's very possible that these are in my car. So they wouldn't bite when it was cold, and that's what it says here, and I noticed that. And then above a certain temperature, they're not, going to be there. They'll burn up, 40-degree like temperature sitting on a rock or something at the beach, So I did notice when it was like rainy and warm, they seemed to come out and just bite me and have a feast. So when it's rainy and warm, like humid. So there you go, there's the chiggers, and apparently the little ones that actually eat you out and cause the itching. The adults don't, apparently, so. Well, they're not chiggers, they were ticks. Yeah, so they latch onto your shirt and stuff like that, apparently. Can use antihistamines. Okay, anyway, so this is the thing here. That's the scientific name. And yeah, I was just reading this too, about Wikipedia asking for donations, and I wanted to thank you guys again for donating to me, and yeah, I do need them. Look, even Wikipedia needs it. And I take pretty much the same stance as them. I don't want to run ads. I want to keep it, a trustable website, my website, consciousazine. I don't want to sell it out and stuff, and, I want to keep it, like, good. And like Wikipedia, it's kind of down-to-earth-ish, and a community of volunteers and so on. So please do donate to me, and, well, yeah, Wikipedia too, but I need your help. Because I actually work for you guys. I don't work for the society. I'm not going to go get some job where I contribute to some other person's corporation and their family, and their neurotic nuclear family model. I want to teach Earth and everybody, and I need people to support me to do that. So thanks for donating, and please do keep donating, everybody. Even if you can just donate $20 or $5 and you don't want me to shoot you a video, that's very, very helpful. Because, for instance, now where I am in Uruguay, it's, $5 is easy to live off for a day, and, it's 100 peso. And for 20 peso, I can get some parsley, I can get some tomatoes, and, so I can get some stuff for 100 pesos, so it's worth it, even $5. Just donate any amount that you can, please. I don't want to have to, kick people off my profile and say, oh, no one's donating, I feel like I'm getting used and stuff. Okay. Anyway, let's look into this other thing. I was born dark, I will live grey, and I will die bright. Anyway, this is a plant that we got delivered to us from a friend of Veronica's here, and so we got given this plant, and we didn't know what it was. They didn't tell us what it was. They just wanted to gift it to us, and it turns out it's anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory. It's actually called Parnabija in Ayurvedic medicinal system, or the Indians from India medicinal system. And it's called Kalanchoe Pinata. I think the one I had was Anata, but I think it might be the same plant. We'll just go to images here. So that's it there. And this is how it grows here. That one looks very similar to my one. So they've all got a little bit of a different, like, species name. Actually, let's open that up. Where's Wikipedia? Open the Kalanchoe in Wiki. So this is totally different from the one that I've got. I have this one here by the looks of it. Similar to this. It's I think my one's Kalanchoe. Oh, not that one. Well, it's neither of those. My one seems to be this Kalanchoe Daigremontiana. think that's the one that I've got. Yeah, that looks like the one that I've got, the Daigremontiana. So I've got Kalanchoe Daigremontiana. There we go. Actually, what I should do is just go through some of these medicinal links there. Then I'm going to go forward again. Planta anti-cancer. So this is all coming up in Spanish. I am on Uruguayan Google. It won't let me do any other Google unless I change to English, maybe. How do I do that again? Oh, let's do it later. Yeah, so it's anti-cancerous, and a lot of links will come up for anti-cancer. So let's just look into this. The botanical name of Parnabija or Kalanchoe pinnata is, and it belongs to the family Crossolacacea, it says here. Let's see what this one says. Yep, Crossolacacea. It has synonym Boryphilium pinnatum in leaves, pecumaric, ferulic, syringic, caffeic, and phytobenzoic acids. Camphorol and quercetin are also detected. Wow, okay, nice. Quercetin, Rhymenso-L-arabinofuranoside isolated. Quercetin, some other quercetin, camphorol, glucoside isolated. The wax hydrocarbons, wax alcohols, and fatty acids obtained from the wax of the leaves. Found those substances. Interesting. So let's go into camphorol for a second, because I remember this one, but I haven't looked directly into it by itself, I don't think. And I know it's good for some stuff. Oh, there we go. Anti-cancerous, anti-lung, pancreatic, gastric, bladder, prostate, colorectal, leukemia, ovarian, and anti-breast cancer. So it's got a lot of anti-cancer effects, apparently. And look, there's plenty of links here if you want your peer-reviewed articles. Don't you know how to use Wikipedia? Antibacterial, antiviral, antioxidant, cardiovascular, that'd be the quercetin and stuff, and camphorol. Okay. Camphorol has also been shown to have a protective effect on the apoptosis induced by ischemia perfusion of cardiac cells. Due to this, it has a promising pharmacological role in preventing cardiovascular disease. So it stops apoptosis in cardiac cells, or it stops like cell death, I think it might be saying. Camphorol inhibits, has been shown to inhibit or decrease the activity of enzymes that partake in viral infection, such as reverse transcriptase, viral proteases, and neuraminidase. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like it could be a brain virus, and actually that's important for me to look into. Yeah, so I wanted to look into, see that later, if that is a brain virus. I'm going to look deeper into it. So, antibacterial against Helicobacter pylori. Also things like cinnamon and Parnabija are anti that bacteria. Also, camphorol is against colonies of gerbils. Small mammal. Right, so it's anti-gerbil. Camphorol is anti-gerbil. Sorry, the Helicobacter in gerbils. So camphorol and its glycosides decrease the number of Helicobacter, that bacteria, in gerbils. Sorry, I'm trying to go too quickly. To do with diabetes, a correlation was found between increased levels of camphorol in the diet and reduced relative risk of type 2 diabetes in cohort study 2005. Additionally, 6-methoxycamphorol ribinobioside was shown to have significant inhibitory activity of aldose reductase, which plays an important role in diabetic complications. Okay, that's a little bit complex there, but looks good. Lung cancer. In A549 lung cancer cells, camphorol upregulated pro-apoptotic BAX and BAD genes, while it downregulated anti-apoptotic BCL2 and BCL-XL expression. This resulted in an increase in apoptosis of the cancer cells. Okay, so it does increase apoptosis, okay, which is programmed cell death, which is like a sort of clean cell death, where it's sort of taken care of and cleaned, and rather than the cell just bursting randomly. Pancreatic cancer. An 8-year study found the consumption of 3 flavonols, camphorol, quercetin, and myricetin, correlated with a lower risk of pancreatic cancer among current smokers, but not non-smokers or ex-smokers. So with actual current smokers, it will reduce your pancreatic cancer risk, camphorol. That's very interesting. Gastric cancer. A case-controlled study found that consumption of camphorol-containing foods was associated with a reduced gastric cancer risk. Bladder, prostate. So it looks to me like the lower part of the body is pretty taken care of. I see ovaries as well. Available evidence has shown that camphorol can inhibit VEGF production and suppress ovarian cancer cell metastasis in vitro. Breast cancer, anti-cancerous effects in vitro. It reduces their available energy, the cancer's energy, limit angiogenesis, or the production of new blood cells to give nutrients to the cancer, sort of thing. Induce apoptosis, so program the cell death of the cancer, and reduce their available energy and ability to metastasize. Interesting. Pharmacokinetics. Camphorol is ingested as a glycoside. Let's just go into glycoside for 1 second. It's a sugar bound by another functional group via glycoside bonding. Where were we? So it's going to be absorbed in your small intestine, usually by passive diffusion due to camphorol's lipophilicity. I've forgotten what one that is. I think that means it doesn't like fat. Refers to the ability compounds also can't dissolve in fat, or what? Non-polar solvents such as hexane or... Well, lipophilicity refers to the ability of a chemical compound to dissolve in fat, oils, and lipids, and non-polar solvents such as hexane or toluene. Does that mean it dissolves in it or not? Fat liking. The axiom that like dissolves like generally holds true. So these non-polar solvents are themselves lipophilic. Thus, lipophilic substances tend to dissolve in other lipophilic substances, while hydrophilic, water-loving substances tend to dissolve in water. Okay, so it's saying that it will dissolve in fat. Okay. So camphorol's got lipophilicity, which means it likes to dissolve in fat, I think, and metabolized in various areas of the body. In the small intestine, camphorol is metabolized into glucuronides and sulfoconjugates by intestinal enzymes. It can also be metabolized by colon microflora, which can hydrolyze the glucosides to aglycones or form simple phenolic compounds. These compounds can be absorbed or excreted. Camphorol is also extensively metabolized in the liver to form glucuronoconjugate and sulfoconjugates. These forms of camphorol and camphorol itself can be excreted in urine. About 2.5% of camphorol ingested is excreted as urine. Much of the rest of ingested camphorol is present in plasma and tissues in nanomolar concentrations. So it's something that can stay inside us pretty good. By the looks of it, we don't excrete it all during our urination. Interesting. Okay. So there you go. That plant's an interesting one. It's not that one specifically what I have, but I have a feeling they all have these similar compounds. So this is just for this one type of Kalanchoe, or just Kalanchoe in general, which has about 125 species in the genus. It's common with other Crossolacea, or the family name. Some Kalanchoe species contain bufadinolide, cardiac glycosides, which can cause cardiac poisoning, particularly in grazing animals. This is a particular problem in native range in Karoo region of South Africa. Yeah, right. So in South Africa, the plants they have around there are not so good, and animals are getting cardiac glycosides and cardiac poisoning. In traditional medicine, Kalanchoe species have been used to treat ailments such as infections, rheumatism, and inflammation, so a little bit anti-arthritic. It also has immunosuppressive effects. It's also been used to treat hypertension in Trinidad. So there's a few different compounds of that bufadinolide, which has been isolated from the one I have too, actually, Kalanchoe Daigremontiana. Okay, so it does have a possible negative cardiac glycoside, bufadinolide. Bufadinolide. So they have sedative effects. They have strong positive inotropic effect. And we'll have a look at that in a second. And it also has, with greater doses, an increasing effect on the central nervous system. Bufadinolide compounds isolated from Kalanchoe pinnata include birophyllin A, which shows strong anti-tumor promoting activity. So it's anti-tumoral as well, and insecticidal properties. So it's definitely a medicine plant that you have to be careful with. In other words, it's not a tonic. It's not something you eat every day like parsley, or drink every day like cinnamon water. So this is not a tonic, it's really a medicine. And medicine is something you take less regularly when you're trying to have a sort of quick and great effect. That's how medicines kind of are used. For quick and great effects, tonics are more long-term, slower effects and accumulating. So an inotrope is an agent that alters the force energy of muscular contractions. Negatively, inotropic agents weaken the force of muscular contractions. So it might be a relaxant like it was saying. It said it's got sedative properties. So yeah, that's what it's doing in the inotropic effect as well. So there we go. We've looked enough into that for me to realise now how to use this. So I don't need to look at this all day long and investigate every last little article on it. It's enough for me to realise how to use a plant and then begin to use it and then feel the plant and see what the plant teaches me. That's how me, a shaman, Dr. Kallenberg, does things. You may do something different, but that's how I and we go about it. And I'd say that's a good idea because this is how, don't forget, the largest pharmacopoeia in the world exists in little rag-wearing men in the Shipibo culture of the Amazon, larger than the whole Chinese medicinal herbal system as well. Because they use the plants, they listen to the plant, and they see what the plant wants to tell them. So you can read about it, but there's only so many times you can check your parachute before you got to jump. Okay? Let's have a look here. General information. No. Going to see if it was going to tell me anything. Okay, so I hope you guys have enjoyed that, learning about a new plant. I love that. Let's just have a look quickly from an Ayurvedic perspective, because the Ayurvedic name is Parnabija, but I hope you guys enjoyed that so far. So we looked into camphorol. Quercetin's also good for the heart and anti-inflammatory. So it can heal wounds. It alleviates vata and pitta, doshas. Okay. Okay, so it's astringent and sour in taste, sweet in the post-digestive effect, and has potency, has hot potency. So it alleviates your vata and pitta, doshas. They're two fiery sort of containing doshas, the fire element. So the leaves have great medicinal use. The other day when we found the article we got given where I found out the name Kalanchoe from, it said in there that the shamans in the Amazon use this plant by baking it, like bread. They'll sort of just heat the leaves up and toast it, roast it. So they actually roast the leaves, and that's how they prepare it. Okay? So the leaves have great medicinal value. And in the Indian, not the Amazon, but in the Indian texts and medicinal system, they say it has various properties like homeostatic, refrigerant, emollient, mucilaginous, vulnerary, depurative, anti-inflammatory, disinfectant, and tonic. Well, I don't know about the tonic properties. After we just looked into it, I would not use this as a tonic myself. Therefore, I'm not going to recommend any of you do it. I don't care what Ayurveda says. I'm a shaman, I can feel the thing, I've got it sitting in my yard, I've tasted it, I've had a leaf. To me, I'm not going to use it like a tonic. That's all I'm going to say. They are useful in vitated conditions of vata. Vitated conditions of vata and pitta, cuts and wounds, hemorrhoids, I don't know this one, menorrhagia. Let's have a look at that one. Medical term for menstrual periods. Okay, so it's useful for stopping long periods of menstrual bleeding, women. Discoloration of the skin, boils, slowing ulcers, ophthalmic. Is that something to do with breathing, maybe? Relating to the eye. Oh, okay. So Kalanchoe might be able to put into the eye, similar to a sananga. What the shamans in the Amazon do is called sananga. and that can allegedly make you see in infrared, far infrared after you do it. It's some like eye drop medicine in the Amazon. Burns, scalds, corns, maybe on the foot. I don't know, it just says corn. Diarrhea, dysentery, vomiting, and acute inflammations are some more of the uses. So Parnabija is highly recommended in Raktapita, bleeding disorders, piles, and menorrhagia, which is excess menstrual bleeding. So you can actually use it on your piles and your hemorrhoids and to stop you bleeding too much. Interesting. So there you go, guys. I hope you've learned as much as me. That was some great article here by this herb Alcuriendia. Herb Alcuriendia. So they're curing. Cure India, sorry. Herbal Cure India. Herbalcureindia.com. That's a good article. I like it when they have a lot of information like this, very succinctly put and surmised. So I'm going to succinctly surmise now that I'm going. Thanks for donating, and thanks for listening, guys. Enjoy. Hope you learned as much as I did. consciousazine.com Chronicle.